Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of the NeuroRank and Pulp team, I would like to welcome you all to today's webinar from AI visibility audit to revenue, operationalizing AI search into GTM execution and results. Thank you for taking the time to join us. As AI powered search platforms like ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, Perplexity, and Copilot increasingly influence how buyers discover brands, traditional SEOs alone is no longer enough. Today's session will explore how organizations can measure their AI visibility, identify opportunities, and translate those insights into tangible business outcomes. Before we begin, just a few housekeeping points. This webinar is being recorded. Please use the chat option to ask your question anytime during the session. We'll address as many questions as possible during the Q&A at the end. If you'd like to personalize, if you like to get personalized AI visibility audit for your brand, we'll share the details before we wrap up. Now it's time, my pleasure to introduce today's speaker. To take us through this, we have Ambika Sharma, founder of NeuroRank and Pulp Strategy. Ambika leads the team of strategists focused on helping brands build a stronger digital presence and transform their sales, marketing, and consumer engagement through the right use of technology. She has been at the forefront of driving solutions across the full spectrum, from strategy development and implementation to measure, all with the clear focus on delivering long-term value for brands. With deep expertise in MarTech and AI-led growth, she has been closely working on helping businesses understand and adopt to how AI is reshaping visibility and decision making. Today, she will walk us through a live demo of NeuroRank and show how exactly diagnose and fix AI invisibility across platforms like ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, and Perplexity. Over to you, Ambika.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Rohit. Thank you, everybody. And apologies for starting like a minute late here. Is my screen, I hope, is visible? Okay, great. So thank you so much. I think today we're going to spend time kind of answering the question that a lot of brands ask. How do I attribute revenue from AI search? So that is, of course, it's a great question, but the attribution for revenue is not that simple. So today I'm going to talk about how can you attribute revenue and how is it that this process of attributing AI search revenue and identifying AI search revenue, you can also use NeuroRank to be able to smoothen that process for you. So the intelligence that NeuroRank gives you has added advantages if you are trying to work out attribution from AI search. So very quickly, there are a few numbers, and I always like to start with this because the entire genre of AI search is so new. Just about a couple of quarters ago, people and brands did not focus so much on AI search because it was a very small volume or it was up and coming, and we most folks thought that it's going to take a while to be able to get to a point wherein it is a priority. But today, 70% marketers already take it as their top challenge in marketing because everything has kind of sped up and arrived fairly quickly. So 51% of, and if anybody here is from a B2B product, especially if you're looking at selling B2B in markets of India and US, B2B software buyers now start research with AI, not with Google search. It impacts their decision making as well. And it's great for new products because a lot of new products kind of hold that spot and get visible within AI, even though their SEO and other discovery metrics might not be up to the mark. 1 in 3 buyers purchase from a vendor or partner they have never heard of. So discovery and visibility in AI are becoming very, very important. And it's a channel to be able to capture new customers, right? Now, there has been huge growth in terms of AI driven traffic, and it's not limited to B2B. So 693% traffic to retail sites in the last holiday season that kind of finished in January 2026 has grown by 693%. So that's a huge number. And retail is not the only one. I'm just highlighting the top. Travel is up 539%. So, travel aggregators, travel operators, then there are also hotels, restaurants, all of these this entire travel category has grown by 539%. Financial services was already very large enough for Perplexity Finance to have launched, and BFSI brands are also their adoption of AI visibility has been like the fastest. So they are focusing on AI search as governance, which is really good, and it's up to 66%. So AI brand, sorry, for that, financial brands are now looking at AI search as one of the top priorities which are there, even in India. Technology and software is up 120%. Media and entertainment is a new category and it has already grown by 92%. So that's fairly large in terms of space. And these are insights from January 2026. While there is, a lot of categories which are growing really, really fast, and these are top numbers from the search engine journal, and these are growth between Feb 2025 to Feb 2026. So these numbers are extremely aggressive. But what does this mean for the PNL? It's important to know that the shortlist is forming more upstream. So our traditional funnel is collapsing for all brands when it comes to AI search. So 40% of your funnel would have collapsed. The discovery and the consideration is happening in the same funnel, right? Absence is not neutral. In a category where 8 to 10 searches used to come, we have moved to a category in AI search where you don't have a single blue link. Everything is a synopsis given by AI. AI mentions 3, maximum 4 products or brands or services at one time. So that is very important to understand, because now the initial visibility is a shortlist, right? Now, unless the consumer is very clear on what is it that he's looking at, or he's in an absolutely niche search and answer area, that initial visibility cut means that you are just that brand or product or services out of the shortlist. It's also very important to note that while there will be obviously some spillover from whatever brands have done, but being cited, citations are the small links that AI searches give. So being cited is not the same as being ranked. In fact, of every 6 citations that AI gives, less than one or maximum one is a first page ranking website. So it's very important to understand that there are two different disciplines and that the overlap in terms of citation is very low. Now, AI search revenue is never straight and attributed like the way that Google search used to be, right? So you have organic revenue, you know what where the user is coming from, which link he clicks, and whether he has gone to your purchase page or has he filled up a sales form or not, or at least has come to your website with the intent to purchase because he has browsed around all of the services or products that he wants to be able to buy. But AI search revenue moves through 12 different systems, and each of these systems is interconnected. So it's really important to understand why AI search is about governance and not necessarily about other things, right? It's not a direct purchase like your um, PPC is or was. So AI search is across your brand attributes and cycle. So the first step is win more discovery. So you have to be visible in the shortlist. You need to have a displacement defense. What does this mean? That let us say that I am looking for, or a customer is looking for, the top dermatological recommended face wash. Okay, for acne. So top dermat recommended face wash for acne. Now the top brands in this category are Cetaphil, and they are Ahaglow, and then other brands, right? But when you search on AI, you will find all the new brands. The brands which are actually dermat recommended don't even show up that often. So these brands may not have defended against displacement. So in AI search, they are displaced by newer brands, newer incumbents, challenger brands. And there could be multiple reasons for that. There could be brand agility, better understanding of the technology. There could be multiple reasons. And this happens in every single category. New vendor discovery. So within the win more, a perfect fit for the customer query comes from AI understanding that you're a perfect fit for the customer query. And then there are typically hundreds and thousands of queries that have a different tone of voice or have different context windows. They are from different parts of the country, like search always was. So that is how answer engines. So one is discovery. It's a great avenue to be able to win new business and new revenue if you are available in AI search and if you're visible in AI search. So this is one. Of course, you have to be recommended by AI as well. It's no point being visible if AI kind of eliminates you from the consideration process. Convert better. Quality of demand from AI searches or customers that come through AI visibility are faster to convert. They think higher of the brand, and the brand value in their perception is elevated than before AI recommendation, right? 68, 69% of the consumers blindly believe the AI recommendation given to them, and therefore they come with a mindset of being able to purchase. Now, this could be a call to your call center, depending upon whatever the brand's journey to purchase is, or could also be a visit down to the dealership, a trial, or coming to the website. That completely depends on the brand journey. But these prospects that come from AI search actually convert faster, convert at a higher pricing, and are willing to pay a premium and better, like shorter conversion routes. Accuracy qualifies. So whoever from AI search is landing up on a website or a gateway to purchasing a product or a service, they are more accurate, and there are fewer hunting consumers, right? Because all of the hunting has already happened within AI. So your funnel has moved, the top and middle funnel has moved to AI. The decision stage context has sometimes been crossed, or sometimes it is at the last stage. So it's a very good idea to be able to kind of, how did you hear about us, in case you're selling through the website? And that gives you a really good percentage of people who might have come from different avenues, and therefore your attribution can be extrapolated out of those avenues. The Like I said, the funnel arrival is really late. They're at a last end decision making stage, and therefore you are able to understand that AI search customers will have certain information and more deep dive about what they need to know from you before purchase. You obviously end up saving a lot of money. Branded search lift is automatic. Even in Google AI overviews, or Bing, for example, a simple search which is not related to the AI memory also comes back better if you are optimized for AI visibility. So you end up spending less, and therefore the efficiency level of whatever you are doing increases. So the branded search lift increases. You'll see reflect more visitors on your website, or more people who are searching by your brand name. So that is better, and that directly reflects. So you just do a before and after. 12 months earlier, what was the percentage? Now what is the percentage? And the change could be attributed in part or fully to AI search. You have a lower paid dependency. And I want to add that your paid also performs better if you're optimized for AI search, because Google has converted itself into an AI engine and therefore prioritizes brands in the query fan out module. But that's a very long story. But in a query fan out module, to identify brands which are optimized for the search as to many criterias that that brand might fill for the user intent. So that, but you have a lower paid dependency for sure. Content and PR efficiency improves. So everything that you are doing will show up in AI search either as a citation or as an added trust signal, which reflects in what AI tells your customer. I'll give you an example. It's becoming very complicated. So let's say that you want to search for the best life insurance. Now, best life insurance for whom? So now you're chatting in your mobile with the chat GPT, and chat GPT knows absolutely, because you're logged in, how old you are, and where do you work and where do you live, and possibly knows about your cat and dog and kids and everything else. So that is called a context window. Now, when you say best life insurance, ChatGPT will recommend to you the life insurance policy which is best for your context first. So now everything that you will that ChatGPT will actually search or have in its memory, it will it will go and hunt and see whether X life insurance is best for you or not. Let's say they chose Bajaj Life, right? And they chose ChatGPT chose Bajaj Life because IRDA said they had a great clearance rate. Times of India talked about Bajaj Life as a customer centric company. Then some other publications were talking about how Bajaj Life customers were taking responding or attributing a lot of ease of business or ease of communication from Bajaj Life to the way that the company handles customer service, blah, blah. So all of this will be seen. So your content as well as your PR efficiency immediately comes and impacts, unlike in search, right? In search, it doesn't impact that much. But content and PR efficiency is directly correlated to how is it that your brand is performing in AI. And the last most important thing is positioning and margin, which is protection. So you protect your margin because when your brand is recommended by AI, the perception of the customer is to a higher brand value. So higher brand value directly, and we've been doing this in marketing for donkey's years. Higher brand value means a better premium, means more stickiness to the product, more referrals and all of that. So it protects the position and the margin. Compounding citation mode. So that means the more that your brand is cited, the more that your trust increases across engines, and therefore it adds to your own content being the largest influencer rather than unowned content or earned content being the largest influencer. There is also risk containment. I will give you an example over here. So I'll not name the brand, but we have a client who's one of the largest printer, office and home printers brand in India. Largest means that by a mile, they have the largest market share, and they're a global brand. Now, when customers used to search for an office or a home printer, this brand did not show up. Instead of that, an HP, a Brothers, and a Canon showed up, right? So competition, even though this particular brand was the top selling brand, and they are the top selling brand because they give value and they have a great product. Now, this was difficult for them to be able to identify, and once they did identify it, it was difficult to solve for this issue because there were a lot of issues that were combined, and therefore this result of not showing up in AI search. When you asked a follow-up question and said that which is the best printer model and why this model is not good, AI gave an answer saying service issues, service center not available, some customers complaining. So now listening to this, nobody is going to buy that printer, right? No, no service, no, all service issues, customers are complaining. Nobody cares about how many pieces a company actually sells. They just want to buy somebody or buy something which is relevant for them and not going to give them trouble. So if they hear about customer trouble, which AI disproportionately aggregates, right? So one consumer is cribbing, and on Reddit or on Quora or a customer forum, AI will aggregate that and make it sound like the whole world is cribbing about your product, which is a problem because it's disproportionate. But that risk needs to be contained. You can only contain it if you know it, right? That what is the problem. So risk containment is very important because it is a defense against your brand value, and which is why AI search is governance and it is not just marketing. So yes, CMOs are accountable, but more and more boards are asking, why is it that your brand value is not reflecting in AI search? So it's a governance challenge, and brands are treating it as such. Particularly BFSI brands, they have already tabled it as a board defense because it relates to a lot of things. If AI lies, then it is mis-selling, right? And the brand is responsible for that. Okay, so avenues and demand side is that you are able to win more and therefore convert better. So I'll just go through this very, very quickly. You shortlist in the inclusion, you appear in the consideration model. Okay, so closes the omitted class, which means when you look at NeuroRank dashboard, you will be able to see whether you're part of the visible, whether you're visible in AI answers or not. What is your share of voice? And I'll show you that in the demo. What is your share of voice? Where are your customers at on which query? And this inclusion rate actually is the signal that you watch. So that one number that, yes, my inclusion should be 80%. I haven't seen it go to 100% for anybody, but yeah, I'm sure that there are like very brands that started out years ago, which are included very, very frequently above 80%. But 80 to 90 is like a really good number to have. So you should appear there. That's one number to watch. The second is AI should not recommend a competitor if you are the better fit. Okay. So for example, if I'm looking for blue jeans, AI should not recommend black jeans. Okay. So that is the second signal to watch. Which prompt where you are the market leader, a competitor is squatting or displacing you from the top three answers. Now, that is really important. New vendor discovery. How many first time visitors are landing up on your website? So you have a no new logo pipeline, right? So that's one estimate to look out for. If you have customers which are completely new, which have come directly and are either taking a demo or starting a conversation with your sales team, then that is a very good metric to be able to track. And I've seen a lot of brands have started tracking this. Now, convert better accuracy. So if your closure time from customers is going down, all your segment pricing corrected facts, all of that is showing up well. You can correlate both of these. So NeuroRank dashboard will be able to give you accuracy because it tells you ORHL, which is if you're omitted or if there are hallucinations, and it also tells you what to fix, where is that issue coming from, and so that you can fix that, either your website or a third party site or PR or whatever is the problem. So it'll tell you this is where the issue lies, and please fix these things. So when you fix it, yes, accuracy improves, and therefore your brand is able to influence better. Decision stage context, which means bottom of the funnel, and share of mentions in the prompts where decision making is involved. So best price, lowest price, most traveling comfort, lowest mileage, those kind of things, right? Or does the particular car or does the particular um, product provide insurance, or does it provide uh, monthly payments to be able to pay for it? So those are decision making prompts. So those are the ones which you need to be able to see that your share of voice is growing on fastest, and then correlate that to the number of new people coming onto your website. That would be really important. So that's the late funnel arrival. And any direct landings on your pricing page uh, is a very good indicator that direct footfall on your pricing page means that more customers have come from AI search and landed up on the pricing page. Great. So we have talked about this, that you spend less because your brand mileage and brand value kind of improves with AI search, because the recommendation is taken very, very seriously, just like a brand value improves with peer recommendations. If I were to ask my colleague, I have so and so purchase to make, please tell me which one should I buy, and colleague says, okay, go buy X. So now I am not going to go and consider Y, because a serious user has already given me the option and given me a feedback that X is good. So that recommendation works well, and it works just as well with AI. And people are chatting about the whole world to AI. So AI has a lot of context there as well. Lower paid dependency, I think this makes all of us very happy. You have to spend lesser in search if you're well optimized, because your ads will be delivered more relevantly and more frequently if you're optimized. And that's how the Google search has kind of changed. So if you're using paid media to be able to drive revenue, and if you are seeing that as compared to last year, you're spending 15, 20, 30% more, then the reason is that your brand isn't AI optimized or well optimized. Content and PR efficiency, we spoke about. Everything that you're focusing on will eventually come back and drive a certain amount of trust or non-trust with AI engines. So that means the entire marketing team has to work together, and it is no longer just the responsibility of the digital person to be able to monitor AI visibility. And of course, defense, position, and margin, it everything boils down to additional revenue. So 12 areas that if you, and it works well if you see like a Looker dashboard or something like that, 12 areas which you should monitor. And if you see a consistent movement in at least four or five, which are complementary to each other, then you will see that yes, AI visibility is actually working in terms of revenue attribution for you. Now, NeuroRank actually tracks all of this visibility very clearly. What are people asking? Where are you? Where is competition? Recommendation, what should you do? Where have you lost leads? Um, Recommendation, share and competitive position, and then displacement in revenue prompts that tells you zero leads, right? And citations, which are the links which are being cited, and how you can actually, how much is your branded website, your brand website showing up in terms of citation growth. So you're able to kind of track all of these things. And this one method kind of brings all of the 5, 6 steps together. Now, I think that before I go to the dashboard, which is not going to be a very long process, but choosing the right prompts and understanding where your brand is at in the journey is really important. I always recommend to brands that they choose the discovery prompts first, because if you are not discovered, then there is no point making the pitch. You're just talking to an empty wall. So the discovery prompts have to be sorted first. Start from the real buying question prompts, and these prompts are in NeuroRank when you run this on your brand, and then they're marked as a discovery prompt. So you can choose which are the prompts which you want to work on first. And these are real customer questions, right? Starting with keywords and all the information that we see, oh, it's the same as SEO, and I will pick up an SEO keyword. No, there's enough research from all of the AI models that says consumer behavior changes when they talk to AI. So they're talking in longer sentences with a lot of context, giving feedback, and those are the queries which are coming up. And that's the query pool that you'll see in NeuroRank. And you have to make your choices because there are literally hundreds of queries. These queries are grouped into clusters, so you can address multiple queries with similar intent at one go. So you track that exact string, right? So pick up the most relevant discovery prompts, then get into consideration so that you come in the recommendation phase. So visibility first, recommendation second. NeuroRank is also built as a sprint, and we always recommend that somebody kind of picks up a prompt cluster and then runs a sprint for a month. So picks up the prompt cluster, sees the situation, assesses it, gets the recommendation from NeuroRank, gets the content going and posted, and by the end of the month runs the rag conditioning. What this really gives you, it gives you month on month growth, which we did not see in SEO, right? Or other places as well, unless you're paying a ton of money for paid media. In organic, you don't see month on month growth, but here you'll be able to see results. When you can see results, you can also optimize the results to do better. So which means the entire process kind of speeds up, and you can work and start looking at your attribution within 2 or 3 months time as you gain volume. You can govern every fix, which is very, very important. AI answers and purchases or other things based on AI answers is open to litigation, which means that, and India, we don't litigate so much because the process is exhausting. But at some point, somebody will get up and say that, look, AI told me that you give this much mileage, but actually your car doesn't give this much mileage. And then it will have to be identified where has that information come from and whether the fault is of AI and the brand. So there are like dozens of cases there. So you have to be able to govern everything that you're saying, and it has NeuroRank has an inbuilt workflow there. And of course, you'll be able to track in great detail where is it that you're at right now. But before AI can recommend you, the discipline on your website needs to be extremely good. So while it's a very longish conversation, but the top things that block AI models from reading information on your website, one is JavaScript. So millions, at least 400 website and millions of hits tells us that no evidence of JavaScript execution is a problem. So on our website, we have half content because we're built for humans, half content, half image. Now, humans don't have a problem reading so many images. AI cannot read images. And AI crawlers are the cheapest version of AI, right? Because there's so many millions of hits and it's purely cost control. So if you don't have FAQs, if you don't have proper pricing tables, structured data, if it is hidden behind some blockers or old JavaScript, then that's a problem. AI cannot read you. So you might be the biggest brand in the world, but if you put up new information which is technically not sound for AI, then that is a problem. Every error response is a lost citation. Again, a lot of the um, brands which have big legacy and history or just poor website maintenance, they don't see 404 blockers. We continue to make pages and we don't have dates on them. And then those pages break because they are linked somewhere else. And those are index pages. So when you get a citation, you click on that and the citation for the consumer will show a 404 error. But AI doesn't know that because they cannot read your page. So that becomes a challenge as well. Wrong bots get blocked. So technically, you haven't enabled your website to be fully readable by AI. And this is a more, it's a very frequent problem. We might think why we know, but nobody blocked AI bots. It's a problem. Recently, Cloudflare announced that it will automatically block all AI bots coming to Cloudflare. Now that's an issue, right? So you'll have to physically go, and if you're on Cloudflare now, go and allow bots to access the server and read the website. So you need to have technical clarity on what is happening on the website. Now, where can you actually see AI traffic? So not in analytics, because analytics you'll see it as direct traffic or branded traffic, right? They're searching for you. Doesn't come up. Um, Unless somebody actually clicked on a citation link, it will show up as AI agents in your analytics, but that's less than 1%. But server logs will tell you how many AI hits you're getting. So every time somebody searches for you and you're in the answer, a server log hit will register. And if you just talk to your technical team or look at your server logs once a month, you'll be able to see if there are greater AI hits on your brand. Watch live fetchers first. So each time a live fetch is triggered by the question, then at that point in time, you will be able to attribute and see in the server log that which page or which packet on the server in terms of data has been hit. So yeah, it's a little bit, if you built it into one dashboard, it's a one-time job, but these are things which you can see and actually get to know. If you're crawled a lot but you don't see citation, then you don't have a discovery problem. And remember, you get like citation logs very clearly in NeuroRank month on month compared to competition as well. So what has happened? It means your content is performing badly, right? So the AI agent has gone to your website but hasn't found anything worthy of being quoted. So the content structure is not great. So it has recognized your brand. Your brand is visible. It has come to your website, but the website has not been inspiring enough and therefore is not cited. So those are things that you got to be able to look at. And in this case, I would say that don't rely on just the SEO or the content team giving information. You should be able to see this at your level, right? So even if somebody puts that together, um, from a leadership perspective for you, you need to be able to see this, because this is not something someone who's tuned to just do content in like a particular way is going to come back and showcase to you. Most of the AI revenue, if you're being cited and read, is already there. In your dashboard, you can see it, but it's filed under direct. And when it is filed under direct, the easiest way to do this in GA4 is, and feel free to take like a snapshot of the slide and send it to your agency. Build an AI channel group. You need to be able to put a regex channel covering open, chat.openai.com, the actual URL from where you receive a hit, not ChatGPT. So all of those URLs for the top browsers, and there are 5 of those. We cover all of these as well. Audit the execution list. So AI host names that are sitting in referrals need to be able to change, right? So they need to get to a different point as well, so that they can be or attributed in the same space. So that definitely is important. And then look inside direct, like we said, compare before and after. Search console is a little easier, a little bit of visibility for some of the top sites. Google has added to be able to show if AI bots are actually sending you traffic. If you're getting a lot of impressions, but you're not getting click through, so that means you are getting visibility, but you're not really getting many citations. So there is like an overlap in one versus the other, but you get the idea. You're able to kind of get a good reflection, and then eventually when your customers are buying, don't forget to get the attribution. Where did you hear about us, or how did you get to us? So that gives you a really good closing pattern. And what we see is that this transforms into a funnel, right? So you start on how many hits did I get, and you end with how many customers said that I found you through AI. And then that's like a really good way of being able to get the full funnel in order. Okay. Now, so the case for AI search is conversion quality and premium for your brand, not necessarily traffic volume. And there are some researchers and aggressive researchers who say that after a certain point in time, 2030 or 2029, depending upon how fast AI search moves, your websites will cease to have any value outside of AI search. And that puts a lot of load of investment and wasted investment if, in case, those are not optimized for AI search and your content across the internet is not optimized for AI search. So referral volume is high. Um, in terms of conversion rate by source, I mean, I'm just giving an example from one of the client sites, which we obviously cannot name. 15.9% conversion rate by ChatGPT, and ChatGPT still seems to be the most appropriate template for India. But Perplexity referral also works really well, and they give a lot of links which people never click. Google organic is 1.8%. So when you did invest in SEO, your result was 1.8% in B2B, which is close to what the actual average is. This is for one particular B2B client. But ChatGPT referral converts at 15.9%. That is the difference, almost 15x or 14x. That's the difference. So if it lands on pages that sell, then you will be able to see a lot of assistant driven sessions there. And most brands have already started to kind of see this if they are calculating the attributes. Now, if you have any questions, I will be able to take this, but in the interim, just I will share my screen to take you through the actual dashboard. Okay, there you go. So I've picked out one brand to be able to run the demo, and this is the mirror of that brand. It's Royal Enfield. The region is UK, and I want to be able to highlight that in NeuroRank you need to be able to pick out a country or a region. Of course, you can go state-wise as well, and that's available for enterprise customers, one or two of whom are using a state-wise option also. But typically, from a drop-down, you pick out your region because AI search is very contextual. What I mean is that if you search for a French restaurant, it is not going to give you a restaurant in France. It knows that you're based in Delhi, and at max will give you uh, best and close by options. Context of location is important as part of the context window, and then ask you questions as to where are you going and what do you need from a restaurant. So what you're seeing right now is a dashboard for the leadership. Now, this is a synopsis and a usable form to quickly get your intelligence on where you're at. So if you see, you will be able to see brand inclusion mentions growth, and you can deep dive in each of these. I'll show you how. So how do the inclusions in terms of mention? So what is your AI visibility? Somebody asked AI a question, you were a good fit, did you show or not? And what has been the growth month on month? So this is a 6 month dashboard that we are using for the purpose of demonstrating growth. And you can see that it's showing the growth level. Could be more. And I'm sure that this brand has put in a lot of effort, but couple of months should be a little bit higher. Brand inclusion recommendations. This is the real matrix to track. If you are being recommended, means that you should already be able to see attribution in your sales, and that funnel doesn't take that long to be able to kind of reflect in your revenue. So do check how you're attributing, and put this. That's what we talked about for almost like the last 40 minutes, and do put that effort in terms of attribution. You will be able to see citation growth. This almost a guarantee, because NeuroRank conditions, and in conditioning your branded website, your brand website, or your main website, which you are tracking, will be growing. So citation growth is always faster, and that's a really good metric, because that means that AI is able to read you, find you interesting to quote, thinks you are trustworthy, and therefore is citing those links. So that's great. And ORHL reduction. So the lower the better. Hallucinations, lies, lost leads, all of those are also tracked, and they should continue to go down. So at an average, you will be able to see like a month on month growth. I want to highlight the first couple of months kind of grows slowly, and then it kind of takes off. That is because of indexing. Most AI models don't index immediately. A model like a Claude is like 9 to 12 months. Of course, NeuroRank conditioning loop helps, but it doesn't change the refresh rate of an LLM model, just ensures that you're a little bit faster, right? So yes, part of the memory, and for every prompt you'll see like uh, faster growth. You can track this by model and by attribute: brand inclusion, sentiment, citation share, hallucination rate, all of that by model. Where is it that you're at? So you know which are the models that you want to be able to kind of watch for a while, and you can look at prompt intelligence, which will go to your entire cluster universe, and how many are in which phase of execution. So you should be able to see that. The legend will kind of let you know. So here we have 12 tracked, 12 diagnosed, 10 prescriptions or recommendations have already happened, and 6 have absolutely been completed, and the rest may be in different other phases of completion, right? So that is something which you will be able to see, and you know that you've been working on AI visibility for 6 months. If you see that 6 prompts minimum have been completed, which means that there is progress. There are brands that work on 4 to 5 prompts every month, prompt clusters, and that's completely on how they plan their execution internally. Okay, so you should be able to see this top 3 actions. What is the risk level? It will give you that. What's really working for you? Which products, and where are they, and which cluster? So you can kind of look at how the growth is. So you have not so great in terms of actions, and then what's really working like a pat on the back, which you can see. These are all highlights, and everything below this here is your execution. So if you wanted to be able to track how your team is executing, you would be able to look at these cards and get like a great view. And then each of the cards you can deep dive in, right? From getting a deeper perspective of what's really working. Now let's go to what our customers asking. So this is your step one that I was talking about, and this is your prompt cluster say, and you can you'll get like a good track here as well to ensure that nobody unwillingly skips a step. If you come to the prompt clusters, you have the top prompt cluster, and then all of the connected queries together. So the tool gets, we are on enterprise APIs, and we have an entire system to be able to get the information. The tool gets the information, the platform gets the information from AI models and clubs the questions together for ease of use, right? So it's fetching and it's organization that you see here. And that is a good space for you to be able to kind of start. So you pick out the prompt cluster here, you look at all the prompt clusters. Let's say discovery is this best touring motorcycles, unbranded prompt. I would always choose that first. You run the analysis. Once you run the analysis, and I'm not clicking on anything, this is a client dashboard, but once you run the analysis, then you will be able to get a very deep insight per prompt and at scale. So all of that prompt cluster will get a brand inclusion score. This is your AI visibility score, right? So you see OpenAI 20% Royal Enfield, and this is UK. So you will see competition which is available there, and top three competitors. So 20% Royal Enfield, but you do have a Triumph and a Honda, which is at a higher share of voice in OpenAI. Similarly, Claude, Gemini is a little bit better, also has the fastest refresh rate. So the impact is going to be the quickest after running the RAG conditioning on Gemini. It's like couple of days you'll start to see movement if everything is kind of done well on the content side. And Perplexity is 41%. Again, they're a search engine. They're not really an LLM model, but they're very, very popular, and they have an AI search model built, which runs on top of ChatGPT. I'm sure all of us know this, but they have unique answer capabilities, so we cover them as well. You have this, you get key insights, you're able to see what is being cited in that prompt, right? And you can get all of the details there, and you will also be able to kind of see answers. What is it that customers, when they ask that question, what do they see? Whether the brand is mentioned, where is it hallucinated, what is the information that is not up to the mark, and it kind of gives you all of this information as well in terms of ORHL for the prompt. So you can find that and you can make a correction. Once you have seen, this is just a status of where you are at. You come to the recommendation engine. This is the most important part of NeuroRank. It will recommend to you per cluster, and I'll just open the first one. What changes should you make? What should I do on my website? So it tells you what are the problems, tells you what to fix. Once you've fixed it, you just say complete. So the system knows that it has to start conditioning after you have completed this entire cluster. Tells you all the links. The category information is incorrect. I'll just read out one. No dedicated landing page targeting this cluster's primary intent. Schema markup and FAQ pages and product types are missing. So either the AI cannot read that page properly and therefore is saying missing, or otherwise the information actually does not exist. Update product specification pages with current technical details pricing. So it has identified that your page is either dated wrongly or has old information. So it is important to be able to visit that and kind of correct it. Similarly, it's not just your website, it is across the internet. So you'll see Wikipedia directories. Where is it that information is missing in terms of Wikipedia directories? It has called out standardized product naming conventions across the entry. So maybe products are named differently. Somewhere you are saying Meteor, somewhere you are saying Meteor 350. You might not be calling the product by its full name because earlier it was not so important, right? And there are a lot of junior team members without a terms of reference document for certain brands that might be working, and therefore there could be information that needs to be updated. And once you update it, then AI kind of realizes this is not four different products, it's the same product. So obviously you get an advantage out of that. So this is a retail dealership category. So Google Business and Google Maps, YouTube, what to do. So if you see really here, 464 recommendations across 16 clusters. So 16 prompts, there are 25, 30, 40 recommendations at an average across all of the prompt clusters that are there, and you will be able to get all the elements, whether it is forums, consumer forums, wherever is it that your information needs to get updated and is a trusted source will be mentioned here. It is categorized by good to have, must have. I'll show you what is must have. See, Google Business and Google Maps must have. So this has a very high influence, and therefore you must have this fix done by your team or by your brand team, whoever is implementing. Now, once you've completed the recommendations, as many as you want to do, you send the cluster into RAG conditioning. Once you can, you don't have to do anything. The model kind of keeps on working on its own, but it takes 15 to 20 days to be able to give that influence injection or RAG injection, as we call it, basically allowing AI to discover the new content and register the new content, right? It should know that information has changed and that pages are now readable. That's the first step. So it has been directed to the website pages and is kind of reading the information again and again. That's what the platform does, and therefore chances improve of the information being updated. Now, if you wanted to be able to track, we have two trackings here. There's a citation tracker, and you will be able to see what websites are being cited and if any have negative information as well, right? So they are tracked as citation frequency. So Wikipedia is being cited most often. That is highly likely because UK as a structure puts a lot of value on Wikipedia, and India as well. So I'm working with clients who have not updated their Wikipedia pages or created Wikipedia pages for like donkey's years, right? And now it's gonna be a longish process for them to be able to do it. You'll see top declines from, there are three consumer complaints here. And I'm sure that the brand is on top of that. So there are some common sites, Bike Valley and all of those. And then there are competition sites as well. So you'll be able to see them marked as competition, and you know how much value which site actually has. And you will be able to figure out where your branded citation and the fact that it is growing in terms of a, it's a pretty looking graph that you can, I mean, feel free to add that as part of your decks as well. And this continues to grow month on month, and you can sort that out. It tells you which queries, which link is ranking for. You have a brand inclusion and a recommendation tracker here. This is one of the most important things that you need to be able to track. It's more important than citations, right? So each of the prompt clusters that you're working on, the orange is the baseline where you started, and the purple is the growth. So there has been growth in almost each of these, and you see that they are marked M and R. M means mentions, which is visibility, and R means recommendations. So on the same prompt, are you being recommended? How visible are you? So that definitely gives an advantage, and some clusters are performing much better than others. Of course, Royal Enfield is like a brilliant brand, and it's not easy for even AI to ignore it. But yeah, you'll be able to track it, and therefore you can see growth. You can also see if something is falling. It's a competitive environment. If your competition suddenly spikes, does something fresh, you will be able to see it here. So it's like a little warning where you get like where are you behind, which tracks, and which are the ones which are lapsing. So you will be able to kind of see all of that as well, and you can deep dive. So there's a lot of intelligence. This is an ORHL reduction, which means reducing hallucinations. And you'll see the drop again. The orange is where we started out for that particular prompt. And in a couple of months, it's dropped almost by like 49% or something, close to 50%. So you're seeing drop, and therefore that governance has also improved. And you were able to see the hallucinations when we were in the live prompt intelligence. It gives you a lot of key insights. Sorry for that. Gives you a lot of key insights and kind of flags things. You can deep dive in every prompt as well. This is a implementation tracker, which is great for your internal teams and your agency. So whoever is approving works on the approver panel. All the links which have been updated can be put in here, and the approver can approve them right from here. Later on, if you see something is falling or moving less than optimally, then you can go back to these links and see which ones you need to be able to improve on. So if there are any questions, I mean, that's like the end of my demo. One last thing is we have millions of data points collected for a brand that's on NeuroRank. If you wanted additional insights, you can actually go to Deep Insights, and you can ask questions and talk to your data. So there is a lot of information. If it is there in the database, you will be able to get like a synopsis answer and additional insights in the deep insights section, and you can use it as frequently as you actually like. Great. So that brings us to the end of this session. Thank you so very much for attending. And remember, you can send your questions via email, or this chat is going to be active as well for a while. Any further questions? We're already over time, but any further questions that you have, I'll be happy to answer them. And I wish you the very best for your GEO governance.
So there are many questions, but we'll take them offline one by one over the email. Thank you everyone for joining us today. We hope today's session gave you a practical insight into how AI search is reshaping digital discovery and how organization can transform AI visibility into measurable revenue opportunities. If you are interested in understanding how your brand performs across AI platforms, we would like to conduct a personalized AI visibility audit and walk you through the findings. You will receive a today's presentation recording and additional resources via email shortly. Thank you once again for your time. Have a wonderful day, and we look forward to connecting with you soon. Thank you.
Thank you.